All right, let's go ahead and talk about how to graph when we are in what's called vertex form. Now you'll know it's vertex form because there'll be x minus h in parentheses and it's squared, okay? So if you have an expression in parentheses that's squared, it's considered a vertex form. So 1 and 2 down here on vertex form. For this first one, first off, in the past, before I even go into it, we've actually talked a little bit about vertex form. In the past, we knew that the k moves your vertex up or down. The A doesn't affect your vertex, but it shows you what the vertical stretch or compression is. So we really have to figure out what the H does. And I'm just going to show that with a table on number 1. So the A is just 1, there's no K. So the only thing we're doing is we're putting a plus 4 in parentheses. And I'm just going to keep it kind of basic. So I'll do -5, -4, and -3. So when I plug this in, I'm just doing -5 plus 4. Just replacing that x with a -5 and squaring it. So that's the same as -1, because you do parentheses first, so -1 squared, which is 1. So if I go over -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 1, we have this coordinate. Well, if I do the same thing, but now I put a -4 in for x, I get 0 squared, which is 0. I'm going to go ahead and plot the coordinate -4, 0, which is right here. And then I do the same thing with -3. So -3 plus 4 is 1. 1 squared is 1. Save this coordinate. And we could keep going. You'll notice that if we plug in -2, you'll get 4. If I plugged in -6, I'd also get 4, and so on. Okay. So if you notice, way back when we did the very first lesson of this unit, the only thing that changed is usually your vertex is right in the center, right at 0, 0, and you got your U. So it's like the whole U just shifted over 4 units. And we can figure out that shift because of this plus 4 right here. Notice it's plus 4, but we went to the left 4, not positive 4. Anytime it's in parentheses, you always go the opposite direction. Okay, so for instance, for number 2, our vertex is actually going to move to the right 3. So, and we've learned from the past that anything added or subtracted at the end, if it's in vertex form, would move it up and down. So we're going to go right 3, up 1, right here. I'll do that in a different color. So that's our vertex right here. And if you need to, you can put like a little dotted line to indicate where the axis of symmetry is. You don't have to do that. And then if you recall from a couple lessons ago, this -2 tells me I'm going to go right 1 and then down 2 from there. That's because it's just stretching that first value, 1, 1. It's affecting the y value. And then I'm going to reflect that over. And there you have it. There is your graph. Okay, so let me go ahead and redo or just re-emphasize what each part does. So the A is your vertical stretch or compression, if you recall. And a compression happens when the A is less than 1, when the absolute value of A is less than 1, I should say. The H tells you how far left or right you're going to go. And you always go opposite directions. So left would be a positive if you're adding a number. Right means you'd be subtracting. And then the K tells you how far up or down you go. And this just stays like normal. So up would be positive, down would be negative. So if you need to make a little note, it should be opposite for left and right. Okay, so let's graph these functions. So first thing you always do is figure out where the vertex is. It's always based on your addition or subtraction. So anything in the parentheses tells you left and right. Since it's negative and we're going opposite, we're going to go right 4. And then the -6 tells us we're going to go down 6. So right 4, down 6, it's right here. Now that's your vertex, so if you need to, you can put your little axis of symmetry right there, just to remind yourself where we're reflecting over. From there, we've got our vertical stretch of 3. So if I go right 3, I'd have, or right 1, I'd go up 3 from there. Then I'd reflect that over. Now, if you recall in class, I also talked about what would happen if we went right 2. Now, if we went right 2, it's not like we're going to go right up 6. You're going to double what 2, or you're going to multiply 3 by 2 squared is what you're doing. So that's how far up you'd go. So we'd actually go up 12. So if we needed to find a 4th and 5th point, that's how you would do it. And that would be your parabola right there. Just make sure it looks like a U. Okay, same idea for number 4. So in parentheses, that tells you how far left or right we're going to go. So I'm going to go left 3 because you go opposite. And then the outside number, the plus 2, tells me to go up 2. So I draw that point, and I'm going to go ahead and put my axis of symmetry, which you don't have to do, but I like to. And then from the vertex, I'm going to go up, or right 1, up a half because of the 1/2. And I reflect that over and draw my parabola.